Two teams come together tonight to unite for Joplin. It's interleague play. The Kansas City Royals and the St. Louis Cardinals. Well, certainly at some point tonight, baseball will take center stage, but obviously in the minds of many, that's Rick Horton. I'm Dan McLaughlin. We're trying to raise money tonight for the folks in Joplin.
Yes, there's a game. The Cardinals are happy to be home, Dan, after a really rough road trip. The Royals a much better ball club, but these two organizations tonight uniting to help the folks in Joplin. It should be a very, very special night.
We want you to participate as well, donate money, and be a part of our telecast tonight. Baseball is coming up on Fox Sports Midwest. Getting you set for baseball tonight, the Royals, the Cardinals. We've already seen them 3 times. That was in KC. Pat Paris takes a look back.
The latest installment of the I-70 series began on a beautiful Friday evening in Kansas City. The Royals started longtime Colorado Rocky Jeff Francis, who had not won since July of the previous year, while the Cardinals countered with Chris Carpenter. Albert Pujols has always enjoyed his games at Royals Stadium, and this night was no exception. But the Royals' young talent came to play as well. And when Joaquin Soria struck out John Jay to end the game, the Royals had won the first of 6 meetings this season. The following day found the Cardinals in familiar territory, in first place by a half game over the Cincinnati Reds. While their place in the standings had been achieved largely through pitching and offense, on this day it was their defense that shined. And no one shines brighter in that part of the game than Yadier Molina, who executed his 39th career pickoff in the 6th inning.
Pickoff, they got it! Molina does it again.
When all was said and done, the Cardinals had evened the series with a 3-0 win. Sunday's series finale matched 2 teams heading in opposite directions. Although the Cardinals maintained their place atop the NL Central, injuries were starting to mount. With the loss of Matt Holliday, the Redbirds needed a spare part to step up, and Alan Craig was the right person at the right time.
This is hammered out to deep left field. At the track, it's at the wall, and it's gone.
13 free passes aided the Cardinals, as did 4 hits by Yadier Molina, and it was off to San Diego with a 2-1 series win over their cross-state rivals.
Jim Hayes inside Busch Stadium. I'll be here all night with details on a very special effort. Teams unite for Joplin. The Cardinals and the Royals are teaming up to help with relief efforts in Joplin, Missouri, which was devastated by that big tornado. We have 6 once-in-a-lifetime Cardinal experiences that we're putting up for auction. Tony LaRussa, VIP experience for 4. You'll get to talk strategy with Tony. Private dinner for 2 with Lou Brock. You'll sit with a Hall of Famer. You'll get a ride in his limo. Broadcast experience for 4. Ultimate game day experience for 4. Pitching lesson with Cal McClellan and BP. And you meet our whole television crew. More details to follow. Coming up next, Cardinal players see the devastation in Joplin firsthand. Cardinals and Royals just around the corner tonight. The two teams put aside their rivalry, and they've joined forces to raise money for a city that lost everything. Earlier this month, Governor Jay Nixon and the St. Louis Cardinals began this tremendous relief effort with a visit to Joplin, Missouri. Almost a month has passed since the Joplin tornado devastation. Some may have forgotten. Many have moved on. The state of Missouri will never forget.
What can we do? What do you want us to do? What can we do to help? Anything?
You guys being here 2 weeks after pushes it right back to the top of the headlines.
Governor Jay Nixon, the St. Louis Cardinals, and the Kansas City Royals have come together to make sure no one forgets the city of Joplin, Missouri.
Today, I'm here to announce an initiative with the St. Louis Cardinals and the Kansas City Royals that will benefit the families here in Joplin who continue to rebuild their lives in the community they love so much.
We want you all to know that we care, and we understand that it's been a devastating situation. So Cardinals Care is putting together a special fund for Joplin relief only.
All rivalries forgotten as the state comes together to help a city in desperate need.
Rick Horton, Dan McLaughlin. You'll hear from Jim Hayes all night long. Dig deep into those pockets and let's raise some money tonight for the folks in Joplin. And we take a look at the Royals lineup. Kansas City, it's been a struggle as of late. Presented by Southwest Airlines. Alex Gordon and Melky Cabrera, Eric Hosmer, Jeff Rancour, Mike Mustankis, Matt Trainer, Chris Getz, Alcides Escobar, and Felipe Molino, who we saw with Houston. And here's a look at our scouting report on Carpenter.
Chris Carpenter has been hard to beat in his career, but you've got to recognize he has a swing and miss cutter, number one. You wait for a mistake, number two. Chris Carpenter has not executed as well this year as he has in the past, but you've got to know he's a gamer. He has been a winner. He is going to compete from first pitch to his last pitch. Chris Carpenter desperately needing a win here tonight in game one.
And here is Alex Gordon to lead it off. And Gordon shoots it down the left field line. That's slicing, and that ball is foul. And we're underway here in St. Louis. So Carpenter, up and down season, no doubt for him. And Chris is looking at just one win so far this year. It's 76 degrees here in St. Louis. Get a look at the numbers for Alex Gordon, originally drafted as a third baseman and now playing in the outfield. And their left fielder, 1 ball, 1 strike. He's hitting .282, 7 home runs, and he's driven in 37. Lines it into center field, and the catch made by John Jay. Interesting that Tony La Russa here tonight, looking at this lineup, goes with Green at short. You've got Jay, you just saw there, in center field. You do not have Terrio, and Tony Cruz is behind the plate. So look at the defense presented by Dobbs, Holiday, Jay, and Berkman. Then Descalso, Green, Schumacher, and Pujols. And the battery tonight, Chris Carpenter and Tony Cruz. And that's presented by Dobbs.
In some ways, you can't keep John Jay out of the lineup. I think he's just been as solid as anybody. And I think one of the reasons you see Tyler Green at short is a couple of injuries, a couple of minor things going on with Ryan Terrio, keeping him out of the lineup.
Tony also talked about, in many ways, you give position players a mental break like you would with a closer or a reliever that's in a rut. So Tyler Green, back-to-back starts for the ball club, who arrived in St. Louis the wee hours this morning, around 4 o'clock this morning from Washington.
I think you're right, Dan. A mental break is good for anybody. It's good for a reliever to get one every once in a while. Good for an everyday player who really feels the grind much more so than a pitcher would. Everybody, in whatever work you do, you appreciate those rare times off.
Jay won't get to that one. Drops in for a base hit for Melky Cabrera. A 1-out hit, and it brings in Hosmer.
The location of that pitch, middle. That's the patience you'd be hoping for against a guy like Carpenter. He can be so nasty, but he has made some mistakes up in the zone. You've got to hit the right pitch, do something with it. 5 left-handed batters in the lineup tonight against Carpenter.
And this is one of their better ones. He is a young guy, but they say there is no ceiling the talent with Eric Hosmer. They love what he brings to the table. Hitting .288, 5 home runs. He's driven in 22. They say probably the most impressive thing about him is the fact that he'll take not 1 but 2 pitches, doesn't mind hitting behind in the count, and isn't overly aggressive as a young player.
So unusual for a young player to have that kind of approach.
Breaks his bat, little floater into right, drops in for a hit. Cabrera on his way to third, and it's first and third for the Kansas City Royals.
That location a little bit better for Carpenter. Breaks the bat. Can't do much more. Chris Carpenter has had kind of an interesting season, Dan. He's had 8 quality starts out of 14 games, and in those 8 quality starts, he's 0-3 with 5 no decisions.
And he breaks the bat of Hosmer, and he's probably thinking, here we go again.
Well, you've got to fight that thought, but I guarantee he's thinking it.
Here's Jeff Francoeur, came off a series in which he went 1 for 11 against Oakland. Line drive, base hit into right, 1-0 Kansas City. Francoeur with his 43rd driven in this year. That's 4 that nearly reached. 3 out of the 4 have.
Nice job hitting the ball the other way for Francoeur. Chris Carpenter given up a lot of hits this year. He leads the National League in that department. Very unusual for Carp. Usually a low hit type guy. At least his control hasn't gone away.
Double play ball. 4-6-3 double play. RBI by Jeff Francoeur to make it 1-0 after a half inning here at Busch Stadium.
That's not it.
We have that feed going to the truck. That feed right there.
Back at Busch Stadium, this is an update. Teams Unite for Joplin auction update. And right now, the big ticket item is the ultimate game day experience. $5,000 by Herb S. on the tote board. Herb S. has another bid of $3,500 for the Tony La Russa VIP experience. The number 314-345-9418. Get involved. We're talking about total devastation in Joplin. 16,000 people left homeless. Cardinals Care doing their part. Keith Brooks is with Cardinal Care. I know the money that we raise tonight goes to the folks in Joplin, but it goes to the kids, right?
That's correct. Cardinals Care for 15 years has cared for kids in the community, not just St. Louis, but in Cardinal Nation. And the monies that come in today will go directly to the kids in Joplin by helping those organizations that serve kids as they rebuild.
Obviously, the kids are at the forefront. Real quick now, what kind of enthusiasm have you felt about the whole team getting behind this?
Well, it's just great. I mean, it's part of the spirit of Cardinal Nation. They'll get involved, our fans, our players, our ownership. Everyone lends a hand, our volunteers as well. And I believe it's going to be successful because of that support.
And we're hoping Cardinal Nation gets involved too, guys.
Okay, Jim, thank you. Keith Brooks, part of Cardinals Care. Schumacher lined out to left, and here is John Jay. 1-0 Kansas City.
And Dan, Cardinal Nation will get involved because I think I know Cardinal Nation pretty well, and responding to needs is something that we do well in the Midwest. We have a heart for people who have strong needs and major needs, and clearly the people of Joplin have been so devastated, and every little bit helps. Okay, I know people can't all bid on the big items throughout the night, but every little bit helps. So please be a part of what we're doing here on this Friday night.
Strikeout for Paulino, his first of the night. This is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Schumacher, Jay, Pujols, then Holiday, Berkman, Cruz, Descalso, Green, and Carpenter. The Cardinals are facing Felipe Paulino. We saw him when he was with Houston.
Yeah, we've seen him with Houston. He's actually pitched pretty well with Kansas City. Throws hard, doesn't always know where it's going. The increasing pitch count could be a problem, and would he be a little bit more nervous on the road pitching here against the Cardinals? He has pitched very well in a Royals uniform. Doesn't have a win to show for it, but his numbers have been much better.
The 1-0 pitch taken for a strike by Albert Pujols. The 1-1. Ripped to third and handled. Nice play. Good start for Paulino. After an inning of play, it's 1-0 Kansas City. By Southwest Airlines, new Rapid Rewards, unlimited reward seats and no blackout dates. By Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers, #1 in quality tires and expert auto service. and by Steak and Shake. Life needs flavor. Glad you're with us. A special night here on Fox Sports Midwest. And it's interleague play. Kansas City and St. Louis. These two teams coming together to raise money and awareness for Joplin. And you'll notice on both uniforms the patches to unite for Joplin, and also the patches on the Kansas City uniform. So both teams have that one on the left sleeve on Carpenter, and they see it's on the front there for the Royals. There's also a patch that says Split in honor of Paul Splittorff, former pitcher for the Kansas City Royals and broadcaster, colleague of mine doing college basketball, and he recently passed away. He was on the air this year, and we miss him.
Great friend of baseball, always just wonderful to be with him when we go to Kansas City, and certainly sorely missed and very close to so many of us in this profession. Outstanding pitcher in his day and a phenomenal broadcaster.
Think about this, Rick. You know, Paul Splittorff basically went through the major leagues twice. Once as a player, and then he would go do high school games, and he'd do football, basketball, baseball, and worked himself into a position to move into the major leagues. And with his expertise, and a great talker, did a phenomenal job on the Kansas City broadcast, and we really, really miss him.
You mentioned the patches, Dan. Those patches are available for purchase at the Cardinals team store or online at cardinals.com/Joplin. And so the patches that the players are wearing, another way to contribute and be a part of this night. And, you know, there's a game on the field, and we are going to be concerned about the game on the field to the degree that we need to. And Chris Carpenter trying to pitch the Cardinals back into their winning ways, and that's certainly going to be part of what we're doing. But we also will have many references to what we think is an important effort going on here that the governor has begun, and both clubs have endorsed wholeheartedly.
Two young ladies throughout the first pitch from Joplin, softball team, and there's a strikeout and a foul tip held on to. Also, something very, very important as well with Father's Day this Sunday. It's a home run challenge. You remember this. Every home run in this game raises $20,000 for prostate cancer research. You can make a pledge there at 800-798-CURE or go online to www.pcf.org. Fun to visit with Joe Torre last night.
Great to see him.
Rick, I could sit down and talk baseball with him for hours. It would never get bored or going down one way and not thinking about going. I mean, he is just so much fun to talk to.
Well, he's a great communicator, number one, but he's had all these wonderful experiences as both a player and as a manager, and he basically knows everybody. That's anybody in the game in the last 50 years. And Joe is so, I'm not sure humble's the right word, but he's very normal. And you know, with all of his stature and all of what he went through being a New York manager and having to deal with that zoo, he somehow maintained his normalcy.
And a base hit thrown away by Schumacher, but the runner Getz will not advance. One of those plays that Carpenter was really in between. Do you go for it or do you let it go? Let's turn to our keys to the game, and it's presented by Toyota. The fewest wins on the road. That's owned by Kansas City, 9-19. Orioles, Astros, Cubs, and the Oakland A's.
Royals have played well at home, one game over 500 there. It's a much improved team. And one thing about the Royals that I would add to that key is this is a team that runs well. They lead the major leagues in stolen bases, even though they don't have one player in the top 10. That means they have balanced speed, including the runner Getz at first, who's 9 for 11. So could be a test for Tony Cruz, who's thrown out the only guy trying to steal on him, and he wasn't too slow either, Michael Bourne.
Alcides Escobar batting .242, no home runs, and he's driven in 16. No Molina in that lineup tonight. 0-2 with one out. See Carpenter really use that cutter to his advantage over the years. How prevalent was that pitch when you were around?
most people wouldn't call it a cutter. They would call it a flat slider. And most people would call it a bad pitch when they threw it. It was basically a slider that didn't have a downward plane action to it. But if you're trying to use it to get to a particular spot and you want it to be flat and you're doing it and it's well set up, then it can be very effective. If you throw a bad cutter, that is a very, very easy pitch to hit.
1-2, and it's a base hit on a pitch that was left up by Carpenter.
Bad cutter will just sit there.
Plaza Tire Service, Foxmo, wind up and delivery of Chris Carpenter.
This could have been a curveball, could have been a cutter. Looks like that was a curveball that he just spun. Did not have as much downward break as he intended. Curveball up and in is not a location you're aspiring to.
Well, Carpenter has given up 5 base hits already. All have been singles. Here's the pitcher, Felipe Paulino. And let's try to break down what you want to do here defensively.
Well, what you want to do defensively is you want to put pressure on a guy that hasn't had a bat in his hand very much. And one of the unfair things about the DH and interleague play for the American League guys, that they've got a pitcher that's got to do something very important right now who's not really well trained to do it, even though he did have some time in the American League or National League. He's going to try to bunt this ball to third base if he's doing it right. You had the bat angle set there. You set the bat angle towards where you're going to bunt it. You don't just kind of jab at it at the last minute. You should set the angle, let the ball hit the bat, and sounds easy, but it's not.
1 ball, 1 strike on Felipe Paulino.
And defensively, the Cardinals have Green deep in the hole at third, covering the runner at second. They're going to try to get that lead runner at third.
They sure are.
Green goes to third. They're daring Paulino to swing the bat.
Tonight, Tony La Russa managing in game number 2,500, wearing the birds on the bat. Amazing.
2-1 count. They now switch the bunt defense. Now Tyler Green's the one holding the runner gets at second.
And the bunt is down. Pujols will tag the pitcher. Out number 2. Runners advance to second and third. And we talk about it. Like you said, people think, well, it's only a pitcher bunting. How hard can it be? But remember, we're in interleague play, American League team, and these guys haven't been doing this at any point in time this year.
Yeah, and unfortunately, television doesn't do much justice to the velocity that the hitter has to deal with from a pitcher. That's going 90 miles an hour from 60 feet away, and you better have that bat in exactly the right spot, because it's a round bat and it's a round ball. And hitters make it look easy, but pitchers show that it's not.
That pitch taken low by Alex Gordon. Runners at second and third. Gordon flied out to center. Little flare into left, and that'll drop in for a base hit. 2 runs will score to make it 3-0. Again, not a very hard hit ball, but enough to do some damage here. With 2 outs, scores 2, and a 3-0 Kansas City lead.
Perfectly placed over the head of the third baseman Descalzo. No chance for Holiday, and what a shame that is for Chris Carpenter. Almost pitched his way out of this inning. Now 6 hits in an inning and 2/3.
And all have been singles. 3-0 lead for Kansas City. And here is Melky Cabrera, singled and scored back in the first inning. Tony La Russa was honored before the game. 5,000 overall games that he's managed, and 2,500 here in St. Louis with this game tonight. Last Friday, La Russa joined Connie Mack as the only managers or coaches in American professional sports history to have reached 5,000 games in that milestone. One-0 pitch.
In all of those games since that 5,000th game, it felt like an eternity for Tony La Russa trying to get a victory. The Cardinals have lost 6 straight. Part of the reason the team hasn't been playing well of late is starting pitching. Off to a bad start today with Carpenter, 3 runs early, and that has taxed the bullpen. Then the bullpen has imploded a bit, and you add kind of spotty offense to that, and that's how losing streaks happen. And you've got to find a way to turn it around, and you're hoping that Chris Carpenter's that guy to do it.
The 1-1 pitch to Cabrera. Misses on the outside corner. It's interesting to see that Tony La Russa would go with Tony Cruz here tonight. The veteran Chris Carpenter, long losing streak. Carpenter and Molina know each other so well. Molina had the dramatic home run, but all for naught in the ball game last night against Washington.
Well, Molina was on that plane that landed at 3:30 in the morning here in St. Louis, and you've got to not catch him one game in a series, I think, after a long road trip like that. And with Westbrook going tomorrow, I guess Tony felt like he wanted Yachty in for Westbrook.
On 3-1. Here it comes. Ground ball to second. Schumacher makes the play. Kansas City adds to their lead. It's 3-0 midway through 2.
Some of the bids are coming in. Some are a little low. I'm joined by Mike Hall of Cardinals Care. One in particular, pitching lessons from Kyle McClellan. That should be worth, I'm thinking, at least 10, 15K, right? Tell us a little bit about that package.
We'll start out by taking you on a behind-the-scenes tour. Clubhouse, weight room, the batting area underneath, and then when the pitching lesson actually happens, you'll learn from Kyle in the bullpen. We'll get you great seats for the game that night, maybe get you a chance to meet some of the other guys. It's a great experience. It's perfect for moms who haven't bought that Father's Day gift yet, because it's for kids. What a better way for a dad and a kid to enjoy the ballpark.
Mike, thanks a lot. A great package, a pitching lesson from Kyle McClellan. 314-345-9418. Let's get the bids in. We're doing good for Joplin, guys.
All right, good stuff. And I know, Rick, Kyle McClellan talked about it with you.
Yes.
How impactful that visit to Joplin was for him.
Yeah, I mean, he couldn't wait to participate in what we're doing tonight with the auction, because that was something, as I've said, I think will probably change Kyle McClellan forever in terms of how he views the world and people and needs. And I mean, he was really affected by it in a deep way, and he got to meet a lot of the people and kind of suffered along with them a bit. And I think he was just incredibly touched. And he can't go 5 steps in the clubhouse without telling somebody a story or showing somebody a picture.
Holiday, nice pick on the left side by the third baseman, Mike Moustakas. Second time he's made a good play here early on. The other on Pujols, that one on Holiday. It's Gordon, Cabrera, and Francoeur in the outfield. This is presented by Dobbs. Moustakas, Escobar, Gatson, Hosmer, and then Paulino and Trainer the battery tonight. That's again presented by Dobbs. Here is Lance Berkman. By the way, the third baseman of the Royals, Moustakas, was a first-round pick, second overall back in 2007. Sporting News Player of the Year 2010. Tying for the minor league lead with 26 home runs. And he had 124 RBIs. So he is up, Hosmer's up, and they say that these two guys are the cornerstones of the future of what they're trying to do. And they also are not looking back to the minor leagues. When they bring these guys up, we're told that they are here to stay.
Well, he's been the can't-miss prospect, and they've got a number of other can't-miss prospects. They've got 7 of the top 31 players, according to one scouting report, in terms of who are the best players in the minor league. They've got 7 of them, and a couple of them are pitchers in Double-A, throwing hard. Montgomery is one, and you've got that many people on the horizon that you have to expect some good things out of Kansas City over the next couple of years.
6 is a serious number again. The Cardinals score 6, get 25-cent drinks the next day, all day at On the Run at Mobile. That's any 20-ounce coffee, fountain, or frozen drink for just a quarter. And we're serious at On the Run at Mobile. And you know what, Rick? Good for baseball. I mean, it's good to see some of these teams that have really struggled.
Agreed.
That have good fan bases, like Kansas City. To see them come back and at least have a ray of hope. But it's hope. It's not certain that these guys pan out once they get to the major leagues.
Moustakas had 54 career home runs in high school. I mean, that's a lot. You wonder how many games you play in high school, number one, but he had 54 in high school. So this is a guy that's been looked at for a long time. Started out a little slow his first year in the minor leagues, but then the power came, and he's had 20 home run seasons most years, and the average at 347 last year in Double-A before he got called up to Triple-A, and you know that's a big number, 347. So you have to believe he's a can't miss guy. You just wonder the rate in which you bring him up is always a question.
And you also start their clocks. That's something that you have to consider.
Their financial clocks.
Exactly. If you're a low market team. Maybe explain that to folks at home. So Hosmer gets called up. Moustakas is here. And what does that mean for the club as far as the financial side?
Well, the earlier you call them up at the younger age, that means they're going to come into their prime with more experience, which means they'll have arbitration, eligibility advantages, as well as free agency will come earlier to them in terms of their baseball career. And so if a club signs a player and keeps him in the minor leagues for a number of years, you own him. I mean, may not be the right word, but you own the rights to them. And so they can't move. And you can have them in the minor leagues for 5 years, then get to the big leagues, have them for another 4 or 5. But if you bring them up early and kind of shortcut the minor league career, then you lose a little bit of control eventually with a star player. But who cares if they're hitting 300 in Double-A? You need production at this level.
Absolutely. So here's Tony Cruz, 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Berkman is the runner at first. With a 3-0 Kansas City lead. Double play ball. How smooth is that? But out at second is Berkman on the flip from the shortstop, Alcides Escobar. We've seen him in the previous series. He has got a ton of range. They love his glove. It's the routine play sometimes they say he doesn't make, but if you want flash, he's as good as they come.
Nothing wrong with that flip. That was held high. Getz just bobbled it. Getz had a little, let's just say, verbal back and forth with Chris Carpenter the last 2 times that these teams met on a play at second base. Somewhat similar to that.
Now Daniel Descalso. I asked somebody from the Kansas City side of things. I said, has it been talked about at all, the pending free agency of Albert Pujols in the Kansas City area? Albert, Kansas City native. And apparently there was a column written immediately after the deadline came and went. But for the most part, fairly quiet, because they know Pujols, they believe, will stay here. Stays right here.
3-0 among the many people getting involved with the relief effort for the tornado victims of Joplin, Missouri. Cardinal Hall of Famer Lou Brock, who has put himself up as part of the Cardinal Experience packages. Dinner for two with Hall of Famer Lou Brock. That includes dinner at Chemo's, delicious, tickets to a game, and a ride in your car, which is very nice.
Yes, it's a 1973 Stutz. The car was driving the night. It stole 104, 105. Also, the car was driven the night that I got 3,000 hit. And historically, it had done well in auction. And so we are donating this for the relief effort in Joplin.
More importantly, you get to hang with Hall of Famer Lou Brock. If you want to also donate, you can text the word Joplin to 32020 to donate $10, but there's more to it, right, Lou?
There's more to it. In fact, when you do make that donation to 32020, make sure you do the why. Say yes, yes, yes. If you don't do that, then it doesn't get redeemed.
Only $2,500 bid for the dinner with Lou Brock. We want a higher bid. Go ahead and make your pitch, Lou.
Well, I would say you got a long way to go. With one auction we just had it in, went for about $18,000, and hopefully we can do the same thing for the hurting people in Joplin.
All right, get those bids in. Guys, we send it back to you.
Okay, Jim, thank you very much. And here to represent the Joplin High School are two members of the school softball team as we get a look at that pitch by Carpenter, and it's hit high in the air to shallow right field. Lance Berkman is under it, makes the catch. It's Danielle Campbell and Michaela Craig. Now you could smile a little bit. Okay, you're on camera. You want to wave to your family and friends?
Hi.
Okay, big Cardinal fans. Michaela, raise your hand, please, so people know. 2011 graduate of Joplin High School. Danielle is an incoming senior. Both ladies were outfielders for the 2011 Joplin Eagles. And we understand the high school has been destroyed, correct?
Yeah, yes. It has.
And what about your homes?
Gone. Yeah, they're gone.
And how many stories like this of yours are out there right now?
Oh, there's thousands of them right now. So many. It's really sad.
And what have you been doing since that time? What can you do, and what would you advise people that are watching and listening to do?
Just trying to move forward, take whatever we have. There's so many people out there to help that's making it just that much easier.
Now, you guys had the honor of throwing out the first pitch.
Yeah.
How did it go?
It went really good. It was really fun. I was really nervous but excited
You were nervous?
at the same time. Yeah.
The arms hurt at all, or was everything okay?
No, it was good.
You were on the mound. Did you underhand it? Did you do fast pitch, or did you go overhand?
No, we're overhand. Yeah.
Overhand all the way. Okay. So tell us about your friends. What are some of your friends doing, the ones that have been displaced? And we want people to know the story about this. What happens once your house is destroyed? What do you do?
Some people have to go to the shelters. They had a big shelter set up at Missouri Southern. A lot of people are just going with friends and family right now. Salvaging stuff. They're just trying to get their lives back together.
As far as your house completely destroyed, as you said, as we get a look at that first pitch from our two guests, Danielle Campbell and Michaela Craig. Well, you whipped it in there pretty good. How was yours?
It was a little outside, but...
Have you been able to recover anything from your homes?
Yeah.
So some of that has been recovered?
I got my Letterman jacket, so I was really excited.
Good. Well, ladies, best of luck.
Thank you.
Tell everybody to donate, please.
Yes, please donate. Everything helps.
Chris Carpenter has a 1-2-3 inning. God bless you guys. Thank you. teams unite for Joplin. How about the private dinner with Lou Brock? That's up to $2,700. Lou was just on the air, Ricky, and I don't know if you saw it before we were interviewing the two young ladies. He said recently that went for $18,000 at auction.
And that'll go for a lot more. I think people are just trying to find their checkbooks because, honestly, to be with Lou and Jackie Brock, they're just wonderful people, a lot of great stories, and you know, he's going to treat that as treat the people like kings. I mean, Lou will be telling stories, and he's very, very gracious, as is
He's
Jackie.
awesome.
And
Yeah.
I mean, that will be just a very, very unique night.
I can't believe that you actually put a bid in on the TV broadcast experience.
I did.
Good. You'll have a chance to meet with Al. Guys in the truck.
Can't wait.
The umpires tonight have donated money as well. We appreciate their contribution. And an 0-1 pitch. And a swing and a miss by Green. So the second strikeout for Paulino.
There's the good slider we were talking about, Dan. Perfect location.
And now it's Chris Carpenter with one out. The 0-1 pitch to Carp. Make it 0-2. We shade him a little bit to the right side. And Carpenter smokes one into center. But the catch is made. Two outs, and here is Skip Schumacher. Looks at a ball outside.
And Dan, I just got a very pleasant text from John Tudor, who threw out the first pitch today. And while he was throwing it out, I happened to text him that it looked like it was about 60 miles an hour. And his text back to me was, still harder than you. There's a reason you're in the booth.
Always go back to 1985 with John Tudor.
John Tudor and Danny Cox here signing autographs for the game tonight. Outstanding number 1 and number 2 starters for the Cardinals. You throw in Andujar and Bob Forsch. Decent rotation.
You know, you were talking a little bit about that story last night. Maybe for our young fans, you see a start like Carpenter's had to this season, very similar to what Tudor did.
Yeah, he just turned it around one day in San Diego. He just said, I'm going to just flip this season around. He had kind of a little, let's just say he had an episode at the clubhouse where he kind of just,
I'll just say it, Rick.
He just did some damage. I believe he set his uniform on fire, but I don't want to say that for sure. Something like that. He ripped his uniform in half and just decided he was going to start over again. But he also got a tip from a high school coach of his, as well as our pitching coach at the time, who was helping him, and he just absolutely turned his season around. So that can happen. He went on a roll and won a ton of games in a row, and really was the reason the Cardinals, one of the main reasons the Cardinals went to the World Series.
2 outs and a runner at first. Base hit, John Jay. And the tying run comes to the plate, the former Pujols. Fox Trax was ready to roll, even for our ceremonial first pitch from the lefty, John Tudor.
You know, it's funny when you watch the old pitchers pitch, they kind of look the same. 45 miles an hour. I'm going to text him again.
There's Danny Cox.
He's going to say he didn't want to hurt Danny. Like you can hurt Danny.
Not many in this ballpark that could hurt Danny.
No.
So 2 on, 2 outs for Albert Pujols. He could tie it up with one swing of the bat. Pujols homered last night, his 16th of the year. He's driven in 43. One ball, one strike.
We have not been seeing as many off-balance swings by Albert over the last couple of weeks. I wouldn't say 100% locked in, but we've seen the power come back. We've seen the extra base hits and hitting gaps more than he did a month or so ago. So I think he's very close to being typical Albert Pujols.
In the dirt. 2 balls and 1 strike.
And he has hit Kansas City extraordinarily well over the years.
And I know we've talked about it a lot, but having Holiday back in this lineup just changes the entire look. Even when you're down by 3 runs, you feel that you can get back in this game.
Jim Riggleman was pitching around him. Not going to do that in this series. Ned Yost won't do that. Not with Holiday.
Pujols' career average 380. 380 against Kansas City. 15 home runs. 3rd most by one player against an interleague opponent. Bonds had 18 against Oakland. Paul Konerko 16 against the Cubs. Three and 1. Now put yourself in Paulino's shoes.
Do I have to?
Yeah, you're 3 and 1 with Pujols, or you walk him and you load him up for Holiday.
Well, you've got to try to make a pitch on a corner somewhere and hope that Albert gets himself out.
Bounced in the dirt. It's a walk. Bases loaded for Matt Holiday. And all this done with 2 outs.
We talked in the scouting report about the pitch count of Paulino getting up too high too early. Throwing a lot of extra pitches in this 3rd inning. A lot of pitches now under stress. And now he has to face one of the best hitters in the National League in Matt Holiday. 4 grand slams in his career.
Paulino had 37 pitches so far. Bases loaded. This crowd is ready to erupt on a Friday night here at Busch Stadium. Holiday hit it sharply to 3rd. First time up. He's 0 for 1. Returned to the lineup last night. First time up, drilled a home run down the left field line. Holiday hit by the pitch. Cardinals get on the board, but at what price?
Matt doesn't seem to be in too much duress right now, but we'll have to see whether or not that swells up at all, and that would be too big a price for a run. Looks like it may have caught him in the forearm.
Well, initially, I thought it might have been his wrist. You get it on the forearm, he might catch a break.
Wrist and hand are a little worse. And it was a bit of a glancing blow, and I guess you take the RBI, but Matt Holiday has been certainly dealing with some injuries this year.
I don't know about you. I was surprised they didn't have a visit prior to the Holiday at bat. He had just walked 2 of the past 3. You got a bases loaded situation, maybe just to go out there and calm your guy down.
Yeah, that's kind of the job of Bob McClure, and he has to know his pitchers, and I'm sure in his mind, you know, he's seen Paulino pitch very well for him, and maybe understanding the psyche of this particular pitcher, he wants to maybe not interrupt his flow too much right away. You really have to be kind of a psychologist when it comes to dealing with your pitching staff.
Berkman, a swing and a miss. Good rip.
Some guys, the minute you see panic, fear, confusion, you better go out right away. Others, you want them to work it out a bit.
That pitch right there, that slider, could be dangerous here with Paulino down and into Berkman. Oh, 1 pitch. Make it 0-2.
I think your point is good, Dan. The slider down and in to a left-hander. Down and in is their spot. That's the power spot. Although Berkman, we've seen him hit balls away, up and away, out to left field.
The 0-2. Inning started with a strikeout, a fly out, then a walk to Schumacher. Jay reached for the base hit, walk to Pujols. Holiday hit by a pitch. Bases loaded for Lance Berkman. Two and two.
Paulino looks to me like one of those maximum effort pitchers too.
Sure does.
You picture a guy at the fair that buys 3 softballs for $1 and tries to knock down milk jugs that weigh 40 pounds. They have that grunt and throw and let's see how hard I can throw type delivery. We've seen that before, and we see that on the mound sometimes in the big leagues with young pitchers especially.
Big pitch right here on 2-2. Berkman, base hit. 2 runs will score. We're tied. Holiday, he'll be waved in all the way from first. Relay to the plate. He is saved. Save at the plate.
Delivers. Holiday just off the disabled list, running well, close play at the plate. Cardinals take the lead. Another big 2-out rally for the Cardinals. We've seen so many of those throughout the season where nothing's happening with 2 outs and all of a sudden they throw up a big number.
Here's Tony Cruz. 4-3 St. Louis. Holiday scores all the way from first. New life for Carpenter. Berkman, the runner at second base. And Cruz shoots one foul and out of play.
With the low run support that he's received all year long, perhaps that will change the psyche of Chris Carpenter. Instead of thinking, another one of those days for me tonight, maybe he's thinking, okay, this is something different. My team's scoring me some runs. They're picking me up. Now it's my time to go out and shut the door.
Ricky, that's 51 driven in by Lance Berkman. 51. And Cruz hit by the pitch. And some of the Cardinals down that dugout getting a little uneasy. The 9th man to come to the plate this inning, Daniel Descalso.
You can tell from the control of Paulino all inning long, there's nothing purposeful about that. It's just a guy that does not know where the ball is going right now. Descalso been one of those guys that's had a lot of 2-out hits throughout the season, a lot of RBIs late in games. Another opportunity here with 2 outs.
Taken high and outside. Starting to stretch now in the bullpen a little bit for the Kansas City Royals. pitch number 30 of this inning alone. To Descalso on a 2-0 pitch. Here it comes.
And that's 31 pitches after 2 quick outs. He struck out Tyler Green. Fly out to Carpenter. Think you're mowing him down. Going to be a nice, quick, easy inning, and then the roof caves in. 50 total pitches. Control has totally escaped him.
Swinging away on 3-0. We have seen the Cardinals do that more this year, Ricky, and I'm not sure if it's just a byproduct of just saying, hey, we got to generate something.
I'd venture a guess they've done it more this year, generating 2-out runs than they did all of last season.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm talking about 162 games worth.
And that's a ball inside to Descalso. That's 3 walks in the inning. And here we go again. Bases loaded. And Tyler Green has a chance to add to this 4-3 lead. Tyler Green started the inning with a strikeout. A look at our update money raised so far. And again, you have a chance to vote or to bid on these all night long. Number to call 345-9418, 345-9418. Please do so. Lou Brock's dinner is up to 5,000. That's good to see.
I believe that will
swing and a miss.
I believe that will double before the night's over.
Holland, a right-hander, is getting loose in the bullpen.
Because I've got your wallet.
I love it. We'd have some fun with Lou.
Oh, yeah.
0-1 pitch. The 1-1. Well, right now you ask Tyler Green, who he struck out. He's struggling. The guy on the mound is on the ropes. Be selective.
No doubt. Pick out a zone, maybe 6 inches wide. It's not in that little area. Take it.
And you wonder right now, if you're Ned Yost, if he doesn't get this guy right here, and in particular, if it's a walk, is this it for Paulino?
I would think it would have to be, even though the pitcher's coming up next. You can't count on him to throw a strike to him.
Full count, runners off with this next pitch. And again, Busch Stadium ready to explode. The 3-2. Green strikes out. Strikes out twice in the inning, but Berkman has given the Cardinals a lead.
Take a 4-3 lead into the top of the fourth. A number of Cardinal players toured Joplin, saw the tornado damage up close and personal firsthand, among them Adam Wainwright. And Waino, from what you saw, the devastation and what was left in the path of that tornado, what can you tell us about what you saw that might spur people on to bidding on stuff and getting involved and getting some money out there?
Well, I come from the southeast, and we don't have tornadoes like that. So what I saw in Joplin was unlike anything I've ever experienced. It was total devastation. You see big businesses like Walmart and things like that torn to bits, but you also see huge neighborhoods with thousands of houses completely floored on the ground. So everybody in all different facets was affected by that in Joplin. A number of people were killed during that day, as we know, and they are really needing our help. And I just think that seeing that gives me a whole new perspective on how people were affected and how much they need our help. And anything we can give as Cardinal fans, we need to give, because there's people out there that really, really need it.
And we have 6 great Cardinal experience packages up for bids. Tell people to get involved.
Yeah, I mean, just from the bottom of our hearts, we hope that Cardinal fans, Royals fans too, but especially, as near and dear it is to us as Missourians, Cardinal fans, let's get involved. Let's make an impact. They need our help. They need it bad.
314-345-9418. That's the number to bid on some stuff. Adam, thanks for the time.
All right, thank you for listening.
Guys, send it back to you.
Good to see Adam Wainwright. And if you didn't see it on the pregame show before our first pitch, Adam Wainwright, Kyle McClellan, and David Freese all went to Joplin, along with Bill DeWitt, the Cardinals president, and members of the organization, to see firsthand the devastation done in Joplin. Tough play here, and nobody's at the bag. Well, Pujols was hoping that somebody would be there. It's a base hit for Getz.
Perfectly placed by Getz. He just drags it on the right side. Pujols tries to actually flip it to Schumacher, thinking he's got a better chance to be there. Well, jump ball. Carpenter couldn't have beat him, and Schumacher can't get there either. Really no chance. Perfectly executed bunt by Getz. Now you got to watch for the steal.
Hyundai Foxmo, that replay, and now Escobar. First pitch is a strike, 1 out, and a runner at first. Big crowd here tonight. We're expecting a very big crowd tomorrow. On Sunday, pavilion level seats for $19. Dynamic pricing in full force during this homestand, but $19 on Sunday for the pavilion level. Good pitch by Carpenter.
That swing and miss cutter from Carpenter. There are times his cutter is so nasty, he'd be better off if it was a little less nasty so he can get a ground ball with it. A lot of swing and misses from Carpenter for a guy that leads the league in giving up hits.
Sunday also, kids can run the bases after the game. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Runner goes. Perfectly placed into right field.
Perfectly executed bunt. Now a hit and run to follow. Schumacher, the runner, at second. He's the one with the task of covering. Vacates his spot. Ball hit through the right side.
Ricky, you think about all the decisions as a manager you have to make, and we talked about it last night. You think about this game tomorrow, Sunday, but you've got Paulino here with runners at the corners, and he may have been just one hitter away from being lifted in this game. And now Ned Yost doesn't pinch hit for him and lets him hit for himself.
Well, he knows his bullpen, and he knows how many innings he has in his bullpen, and that's the real answer. And sometimes you have to do something out of necessity that you don't really want to do, and that is let Paulino hit with 1 out, runners at first and third. Not a lot of experience, but I'm not sure I want 5 innings out of my bullpen.
Corners are in as Pujols will hold it first. Descalso, the third baseman, is in on the grass.
He's had some success late 8th, 9th innings, but if you have 5 innings out of your bullpen, that means you've got a lot of long relievers you have to use.
Sometimes in a spot like this, you're just asking him to sacrifice the runner from first to second, take the out, and hope your leadoff man can drive him in.
We saw that during the homestand where there was the same situation, and they actually went ahead and had it as a safety squeeze where the runner at third was getting a big enough lead that just in case the bunt was laid down perfectly, he's going to try to score. So he's getting that lead. He's thinking about it.
Cruz can go to second. Safe there. Back to the plate. Save. Green, the runner out at second base, is safe. He doesn't realize that. Now he does and heads back to the bag. Initially, he thought he was out. Green never touched the bag at second on a force play.
He still doesn't know. He's getting ready to leave and vacate the bag as he comes off the bag and then tries to get the runner at the plate. The swipe tag a little bit too late to get Getz. So what could have been 2 outs for the Cardinals ends up as none. The swipe tag, does he get him? Oh, I think he did.
And my question would be, too, if you're Tyler Green, you got to realize the pitcher is bunting. You might be able to turn 2 by just staying on the bag at second and go across the diamond.
That's why I was surprised he came home. Once the throw was made to second base, I think you're committing to the double play.
So here is Gordon. Base hit, 2 RBIs back in the second. He's also flied out to center. So it's sacrifice fielder's choice on that play. One out, runners at first and second.
Here's the play at second. Close play there. Green is indeed off the base. No really good reason to be off the base. The play at the plate, does he tag him on the back before he hits home plate? I say he did. You can tell how that would be difficult for the umpire to see from that angle. But just a botched play. That's all you can say.
And it was almost as if Paulino was caught at the plate and tangled up a little bit with Cruz. He didn't bunt it far enough to get out in front of the plate.
Well, that would have made it, in your mind, a sure double play unless Paulino, a pitcher, happens to be Jim Ryan or something. I mean, you wouldn't expect him to be that fast. So that's a clear double play. And for Tyler Green to think that home was the play, I'm just not sure what his line of thinking was.
2 balls and 2 strikes. Runners at first and second. And a swing and a miss. 95 on the gun from Carpenter. Third strikeout for Carpenter, and it brings in Cabrera, who is 1 for 2. Carpenter, a nice play. Takes the base hit and RBI away. Royals will strand 2. They tie it up. It's 4-4.
4th in St. Louis. We have 6 great Cardinal Experience items up for auction, but there are other great ways you can get involved and help out with the folks that were suffering damage from the devastating tornado in Joplin. Donate online at www.cardinals.com/Joplin. Any amount you want. Text the word Joplin to 32020 to donate $10. Don't forget to text back Y to complete the transaction. Call 314-345-9000 to donate any amount. Donate cash at one of the Busch Stadium gates tonight, or purchase a commemorative Team Unite for Joplin patch for $10 on the Cardinals website or at the team store. So get involved and get a bid in on those items, and we go back to the booth. And Dan and Rick, guys.
All right, Jim, good job over there. Thank you. And here's Carpenter. Made a fine play to end the inning. The top half. 4-4. Mike Helling, Tom Mee, and our Fox Sports Midwest crew. Keith Oberman. Brian McCann, all working very hard tonight to raise awareness and money for Joplin. Here's the 0-2 pitch to Carpenter. Carpenter lined out to center his first time up. Cardinals picked up 4 runs last inning. Paulino has already hit 2 here tonight. And I think Carpenter is having a word with our catcher here, telling him to get the ball down. What's on Tap is presented by Budweiser. Mazzaro against Westbrook. Take is 6-4. We're on the air at 5:30 tomorrow. Remember, it's a 6:15 first pitch, 5:30 on the air with the pregame show.
Chris Carpenter seemed a little bit steamed coming off the mound after the last inning. The Cardinals defense let him down, and that 1-run lead evaporated pretty quickly there at top of the 4th inning, and I think he carried that frustration to that at bat, and just hope he can kind of settle down and get that behind him.
We've seen 2 Cardinals hit tonight. Holiday was hit by a pitch on the forearm. Pitch that was up to Cruz. He was hit. And here comes an 0-2 to Skip Schumacher. One ball and 2 strikes. Interleague play, and the Brewers have Boston tonight.
So it's very easy, Dan, to text 32020, text the word Joplin to make a contribution, and anybody can do that. We just did it sitting here, and we would encourage, I'd like to see about 500 people do that right now. It's not that hard to do. Just 32020, text the word Joplin, and then you have to reply yes to accept the charges, and all of the proceeds will go to help the folks at Joplin. So not that hard to do. Very simple. Let's get about 500 people to do that in the next 5 minutes.
You know who's a big texter?
Who?
We've been talking about
Brandon Phillips?
Going to dinner with him. Lou Brock.
Is he really?
Kid you not.
I'm going to have to see that to believe it.
Here's a 2-2 pitch. Beautiful night here in St. Louis. Big crowd. The 2-2 pitch. You know, we mentioned before about dynamic pricing. We've got the Phillies coming through Off day on Monday. Field box seats for $20. Field box, some of the best seats in the house, only $20. And then terrace level, only $9 for all 3 games against the Phillies. The Phillies team is starting to look like the team that we all thought they may play like at the beginning of the season.
Well, that's what starting pitching will do for you.
8-2 in their last 10. They're 44-26, and they lead the East by 5. Schumacher lines it to short.
Perhaps the most athletic position on the field is the shortstop. Escobar showing us why. Very graceful. Ball wasn't hit that hard by Schumacher, but it looked as if it was going to get up the middle, but perfectly played by the young shortstop.
Here's John Jay in a 4-4 game with 2 outs. We've got all these young prospects. Here's a simple question. How do you get over the hump?
Well, you've got to find a way to be able to bring enough people in the ballpark and to be able to promote enough of the product so that when those young players become really good players, you don't have to get rid of them. Pirates have not figured that out yet. I think the Royals have done that a couple of times over the years, but it's a difficult thing for a lower revenue club to do. You come up with a plan, Dan, and then you get 3/4 of the way through it and you say, how are we going to pay for this plan? And so you bail on the plan and you have another 5-year plan.
Right.
And so you start all over again.
I mean, you think about some of the players Kansas City had. How about Johnny Damon, Beltran? Jermaine Dye was in that outfield. I mean, they were very good players that they had. And that's what you're talking about. If you're a franchise that can afford, let's say, 1, 2, or 3 of those players, you're competitive. I mean, Johnny Damon, along with Beltran in his prime, that's pretty good.
And I think what happens when you start to win, you start to keep those players more. And so if they'd have been winning when those players were young, they had other guys along with it, they would have said, well, you know, we're not that far away. And, you know, there's a prize at the end of the rainbow here for us. And there's some revenue at the end in terms of postseason. And that boost for a club is astronomical.
Yes.
But if you think you're out of it and you've got players like that, you're going to start thinking about next year and the next year and the next year.
Jay strikes out. It's 4-4 as we head to the 5th. VisitMode.com to start planning your next Missouri getaway. And welcome to the Lake of the Ozarks. Lake of the Ozarks spans over 54,000 acres with 1,100 miles of shoreline. Pontoons, fishing boats, watercraft, speedboats. I'm sure we have a lot of Cardinal fans, Kansas City Royals fans at the lake watching us tonight. Find out more at VisitMode.com. Let's turn to our AT&T trivia question. Who are the only 2 starting pitchers with an ERA at home of 3 or less with no wins? Minimum of 6 starts. Carpenter and Clayton Richard of San Diego.
Not surprised by the one. San Diego struggles to score runs. They always do. Here's Carpenter, a bit of a surprise.
Your buddy John Tudor here in the TV booth.
Yes, he is. He's attracting a crowd, too, as John always does. John reminds me a little bit of Chris Carpenter, by the way.
Yeah, I can always tell when he's happy. They're smiling so much.
They're very similar. They've got that same kind of tenacity. A little bit different stuff, though.
We're trying to get him to come down. He won't do it.
He's a little bit afraid of what I might say.
Come on, John. Come on down.
I'm not sure. We better have our hands on the cough button if John Tudor comes down here.
Hi, John.
No, there's no delay, John. It's all you, baby. No delay. Be nice.
So John Tudor has grabbed the spare headset. We remind him we are live.
It's Ricky's worst nightmare to have me with a mic.
That's a good point.
How you doing, John?
I'm doing good, thanks. No, I can't complain. Like tell everybody, no one listens anymore. So
we were talking last night about how you have developed into quite the hockey player. You still playing hockey, right?
I try.
You try.
Yeah.
Where are you living these days? How old are your kids? What keeps you busy?
I'm still in the same place, still up in the North Shore, Mass. Both my sons just graduated from high school a couple weeks ago, and my daughter's just finished her sophomore year in college. So we're hoping to have them all out of the house this fall.
That's what you care about.
Exactly.
You know, we were talking about you in 1985, and here's Chris Carpenter. He was 1-6.
Well, hopefully he doesn't get to where I got.
And you were 1-7. What was it that changed it for you that year?
No, you know what? It was just a great team. We just kept battling and, picked away, and a lot of the mistakes, as Ricky knows, a lot of the mistakes we made on the mound didn't show up in the scoreboard because of the defense that we played. And, just like I said, just kept trying to throw the ball to the plate, and hopefully
what did you do, though? What did you do to turn it around for yourself personally?
I just changed a little bit mechanically, and I think maybe just one little checkpoint that a friend of mine mentioned to me might have just kind of either clicked or gave me something to grab onto, and it just kind of snowballed from there. Like I said, the team was on a roll at that time, so you didn't really have to do a whole lot to win games with that club the way it was playing. It was a great year. It was by far the best team I ever played on. So.
And the defense had a lot to do with it, as you mentioned. The defense on the infield, the outfield, all over, and of course your precision pitches were also a part of that. And Dan, I would say, he threw, I don't know how many pitches over 20 games, maybe. You could say dozens maybe weren't exactly where he meant to throw them. Just with the impeccable control of Mr. Tudor here, and I hate to compliment him on this here, but it was outstanding to watch you. I knew I had a night off every time you pitched.
Yeah, well, I was hoping you had a night off every time I pitched.
2 balls and 1 strike
for you and for the team.
What's it like for you coming back to St. Louis?
It's always great to come back here. I always leave here with a big head because people always tell me, they love to watch us play in the '80s, and I'm only back here occasionally. So when they see me, they're always saying nice things, and I haven't had too many say bad things, which is always nice. And generally, the only one that says bad stuff is Ricky. So
it's because I love you, John.
But it's great to come back here. It's a great place to play, and just a fun atmosphere at the ballpark, and positive all the way around.
Great to see you.
Okay.
Thank you. Albert Pujols is coming up when we come back.
Bottom of the fifth, an update of our auction of 6 once-in-a-lifetime Cardinal Experience packages. We're taking bids until the end of the 8th inning. Of course, all the money goes to relieve the victims of the devastating tornado in Joplin, Missouri. Let's not forget that the money goes to kids to rebuild their homes and their schools. Embarrassingly for us, at the bottom of the tote board is the Fox Sports VIP package, which includes a lot of great stuff, including you get to read the lineup card on the award-winning Fox Sports Midwest pregame show, and you get to hang with me. I will make sure that you get autographs from all the players, and you get to meet and greet Mike Matheny. Everybody loves Mike Matheny. Oh, by the way, you'll probably get to meet the other Fox broadcasters like Dan and Rick. Guys, we send it back to you.
All right, don't forget Al either. And here is Albert Pujols. Pujols here tonight has grounded out to third, and he's also walked. Pujols, Holiday, and Berkman, a 4-4 game here in the fifth. Flash bulbs popping. Nightfall upon us here in the middle of America. Everybody trying to get a glimpse of Albert.
Really reminds you of, in a small way, of what we used to see here with Mr. McGuire.
Amazing. Escobar so smooth to his left, it makes the play.
Cardinals, Dan, with just 2 hits. Very lucky to be in this game. The 4-run third inning, they had Polino on the ropes, and really he had himself on the ropes with walks and hit by pitch, and the Cardinals weren't really necessarily hitting him hard, although Berkman did deliver the big bases loaded double to right. Most exciting part of this ball game so far, but we've got a lot more to come, and maybe Matt Holliday will supply some of that excitement.
It's 4 walks the Cardinals have been issued tonight. Holiday was hit by a pitch back in that 4-run third. Lance Berkman on deck, now with 50-plus RBIs this year. Taken just a little bit low. Adrian Gonzalez leads all of baseball. The Boston Red Sox first baseman, the former Padre, was 61 driven in. Prince Fielder at 59 to lead the National League. As we told you earlier, the Brewers are playing the Red Sox tonight. A 2-1 pitch. Holiday fights it off and muscles a base hit into right. This day in baseball history brought to you by Schnucks. Stan the Man hits a walk-off home run in the 10th inning against the Phillies. Stan, of course, wound up with 475 career homers. This day in history brought to you by Schnucks.
Brewers, by the way, are trailing the Red Sox 8-4 in the 7th inning, and you look at the schedule for the Brewers, and it really kind of begs the question of maybe some of the inequity of the interleague play.
No doubt. Berkman on the first pitch, pops it up left side. Moustakas foul territory, and he's got it. There's 2 outs, then it brings in Cruz. Matchup tomorrow, Westbrook 6-4. Vin Mazzaro is 1-1. And then on Sunday, Jaime Garcia 6-2 against Danny Duffy 1-2. And Rick, you get the feeling we'll be saying this all year long. If you take the start away in Colorado from Jaime Garcia, how good would the numbers be?
Yeah, they're already. He's almost under 3 again.
Yeah.
With an 11-run game in the midst of that.
Cruz out to left, and that liner is caught. We played 5. Raise awareness and money tonight for the folks in Joplin. It's 4-4.
Of the 6th, 314-345-9418, the number to call to take part in our auction for Joplin relief. Keith Brooks of Cardinal Care joins me again. We're going to push the Tony La Russa VIP package to make sure people understand what they're getting. They're getting a lot with the skipper, right?
They are. Tony, being the consummate leader that he is, donated a large portion of his time pregame to visit with a lucky fan, sit down, discuss strategy with that fan and the starting lineup. That fan gets to watch batting practice from the VIP area. They get to have dinner in the Cardinals club. So it's a great experience for a fan to feel like a manager does prior to a game.
The bid is at $4,200. If we add more, I'll let those folks show up and yell at me with Tony in the post-game interview. Back to you guys in the booth.
It's worth the price right now. Getting,
I like it.
Seeing the cat get yelled at.
Nothing like it. Tony TV.
Especially when you have a 6-game losing skid. You walk into that office. Jim has the outstanding job of visiting with Tony La Russa.
Good thing he has that magnetic personality.
We should mention, and you're right, Tony really does take his time, though, with those people. And he's auctioned that off before. Brings them in, goes over why each specific person is in that lineup and his thoughts going into that night. It's really kind of a fascinating way to take in a game.
And Dan, I've been with Tony a number of times over the years, and we tease about how he is after a loss. And, you know, why would you be in a good mood after a loss? Let's answer that question first. But Tony will always give you something special. He will tell you something that nobody else knows. I've seen him many times do that to small crowds. He says, look, you're here for something special, so let me tell you, here's who's going to start tonight, but he doesn't even know it. I mean, he'll do that. Or here's something I'm concerned about with the Brewers or with the Cubs, and things that he won't say publicly, he'll say to the folks. I mean, he really does take that seriously because he understands that people are making a contribution, whatever it might be, to get into those situations. So time with Tony, I'm telling you, it is a very worthwhile thing to bid on, and you will not be disappointed.
0-2. Left center. Jay diving catch. Oh, what a play in center field by John Jay.
He continues to make contributions. He gets a good jump. He lays out and somehow hangs on. How about that? That's fun to watch. There's one for your personal highlight film.
Nice play by John Jay. Little flare into left center. He was playing in, but as you mentioned, Rick, the key there was getting the jump and then able to hold on. The ball was almost ready to come out. Strike at the knees. 0-2. Alcides Escobar. The fans applaud the effort of John Jay. You'll see them, I'm sure, give him a standing ovation when he runs in from the dugout into the dugout. Carpenter thought he had a strikeout.
I think he did go on that.
That one for certain. Standing ovation near the dugout for John Jay. Brought to you by the Stadium Sports Bar and Grill at Lumiere Casino. It's now open, a sports bar for everyone. By Jack in the Box for right now, you can get the new bourbon barbecue steak grilled sandwich at participating restaurants. And by Kia Motors. To learn more, visit kia.com. First game of a long homestand. This June, the Marines are taking to the Gateway City by air, land, and sea. Come meet your Marines at Marine Week St. Louis, June 20th through the 26th. For a full schedule of events, please go to marines.com, MIL/Marine Week schedule. Descalso pulls it foul, and we're underway here in the bottom of the 6th. Daniel has walked and also grounded out to second. Leadoff base hit.
Carpenter, a very strong top of the 6th inning. You would think he would bat for himself no matter what here. Tony has been letting him go deeper in games, giving him an opportunity to pick up a victory.
Remind you to bid. Again, area code 314-345-9418. And Rick, how about the text message as well? But again, if you'd like to call in, 314-345-9418.
And the text is 32020. That's 32020. And you just text the word Joplin to donate $10. And I know not everybody can bid on the big things, but everybody can contribute $10, be a part of something very special here.
Tyler Green struck out twice in one inning. Back in the third, he's 0 for 2. Carpenter is on deck. We've seen Paulino, pretty good slider, and he was able to get Green to chase a couple of times. Patches on the uniforms for both Kansas City and St. Louis. You can go online to buy those. Proceeds going to the fundraiser here tonight, really all weekend long until they're sold out. Base hit, Green. Boy, he needed that. And now you have Carpenter with runners at first and second and nobody out.
Tyler had been sitting on an 0 for 13 before lining that up the middle.
Daniel Descalso safe at second, safe and secure. New York Life. Teaford is getting loose in the bullpen for Kansas City. They have two lefties out there, Teaford and Collins.
Everybody but the outfielders in this conversation.
And it would make sense to have that lefty getting loose now with Schumacher and Jay back to back following Carpenter. Update the tote board. So you get a look here.
I'm telling you, the Lou Brock dinner is getting to 10,000. Thank you, Steve Z.
TV broadcast experience at 7,000. One of Ricky's game checks.
I don't know where to go with that, Dan.
Oh. Runners at first and second. Carpenter showing bunt. Remember, he lined out to center already tonight. Struck out as well, and that's caught. This could be a problem here. Out at second, on to first, and they'll get the double play. Talk about a momentum-changing play. You just saw that there.
Yeah, very athletic play by Paulino, too. He just charges this ball hard, picks it off the ground, pops up, gets the lead runner at second, and I've never seen a triple play, and I almost saw one. Wow.
Here's Schumacher with 2 outs and a runner at first. Pitch out. Nothing doing there. You know, here you have a situation, Rick, and you talked about this where and it's early in the count, obviously. It's only 1-0, but Paulino has fought with the strike zone all night long. Now you put him behind 1-0. Schumacher, doesn't matter, pops it up. Shortstop has it. Threat is through. We head to the 7th. 4-4 here at Busch Stadium.
The 7th at Busch Stadium. Earlier in the broadcast, we met 2 young women, Michaela and Danielle. 2 young girls from Joplin, Missouri that lost everything, their homes, their school. Why not help them out and their families while doing something great for your own family? Get involved with our auction, 314-345-9418. The Tony La Russa VIP experience continues to climb, as does our Fox Sports VIP experience. You get to hang with us on the pregame show. 314-345-9418. We're taking bids until the end of the 8th, guys.
Okay, Jim, good job. And again, Ron Waterman of the Cardinals staff that has been behind this, one of the many folks here with the Cardinals behind this idea, along with the governor and the Kansas City Royals. Wanted to make sure that we point out as Berkman is over to cut it off. And a base hit for Mitch Meyer, pinch hitter for Paulino. But wanted to really point out the 2 young ladies that threw out the first pitch that we had up here in the booth, really the driving force behind this. And again, if you did not see them or hear the interview, both their homes completely destroyed and their high school destroyed. And they pointed out to us that they are just 2 of many that have been displaced from their homes and complete destruction. So that's why we're here, to raise that money. And bid now at 345-9418, 345-9418.
And delightful ladies, too.
Very much so. Smiles on their faces.
Right.
They were thrilled to throw out the first pitch. They had no idea they were going on the air, and then all of a sudden those smiles turn into, oh my goodness.
Really got the sense they understood they were representing something bigger than just themselves, too, although certainly affected them in the most profound way. But they were representing a lot of other families, a lot of their friends and classmates, teammates, neighbors. That's kind of humbling when you get into that situation.
Sure
I
is.
know that'll be something they'll remember the rest of their lives.
So the base hit by Meyer, and top of the lineup here with Alex Gordon. 1-0 pitch. You know, we saw in Washington where you had a guy like Jason Worth leading off that you normally wouldn't anticipate. Same could be said here for Alex Gordon. Remember when he first came up Kansas City envisioned him being a middle-of-the-order type player.
3 or 4 hitter. Yep. In fact, that was the debate really on him. Is he going to be an average guy that we're going to put in the third spot? He's going to be our best hitter, or is he a guy that we think is going to have a lot of pop and lead our team in home runs? Kansas City really hamstrung a bit in this series without Billy Butler, their DH, who's a big part of their offense and doesn't really have a position. He plays first, but Hosmer's pretty well entrenched there now. So they miss a big bat.
Yeah, really, he is a DH. I mean, for the most part, that's where you're going to see him in their lineup. And they feel that Hosmer's a guy that eventually could be a Gold Glover. They think he's that good. Let's see if they want to run here. Carpenter thinking the same thing.
Well, we've expected that tonight from the Royals. They run well as a team, not afraid to run, not afraid to try to make something happen.
Ground ball, that is foul. It would have been a double play. It's a foul ball. And now we have a full count, and the runner is back to the bag at first. Very, very close.
Albert does the right thing. You play it out. You don't decide to be an umpire in the middle of the play. You just play it out and find out later. Albert's so good at that play.
Meyer, the runner at first. You would think he'd be off with this pitch on 3-2. Again, the number to donate, 345-9418. 345-9418. It's getting near the end. Not running, and the pitch is hit in the air. Left field. Holiday's over near that side wall and makes the catch. So Gordon retired after he was ahead in the count, 3 balls and no strikes. And it's time to head to our email the booth question. Susan in Webb City, just wanted to say thanks for all that you have done to help the tornado victims in Joplin, and we certainly appreciate Cardinal Nation stepping up. Numerous donations tonight, thousands of dollars. And again, 345-9418. You can still donate or bid on the auction items. Melky Cabrera with 1 out. Looks at a strike. Cabrera singled and scored back in the first.
Folks are participating in a very worthwhile humanitarian display, I think, by both the fans of the Royals and the Cardinals and Kansas City and St. Louis people trying to help out the folks in Joplin. But they're also watching a very close ball game, a really good ball game, I would say, between these two clubs. 4-4. And we've got some action left in these last few innings. It'll be very interesting to see what happens out of the Cardinals bullpen once Chris Carpenter gives way.
0-2 the count, 1 out, runner at first. Royals about hit the Cardinals 9-5. Ground ball, base hit on an 0-2 pitch. Meyer will stop at second base.
Seemed as if Meyer should have been able to go first to third. That ball wasn't hit that hard, but he kind of slipped rounding second base and probably made the good decision to stop and go back.
You would think most teams would challenge Lance Berkman.
I don't think he would have even thrown to third. He would have hit the cutoff man and been thankful to keep the double play in order.
1 out, runners at first and second.
And that's a big difference. Not having Meyer at third base with less than 2 outs, 7th inning of a ball game, that's a huge potential impact on this game.
Good pitch.
Usually when we recap a game or when people will look back and say, oh, I saw the game last Sunday, here's what happened. You'll mention the guy who hit the home run, maybe the guy that got the save. You might mention the guy that got 4 or 5 hits, the starting pitcher. But there are other things that happen in that game that affect the outcome just as much as that home run would. And that's base running. It's defense.
High chopper foul. Sent our Cardinals crew to Joplin, and here's some of that video. The devastation through Joplin. Unbelievable. Three, 4, 5, 9, 4, 1, 8 to donate. Another 0-2 pitch, and that is a foul ball. Carpenter is saying, wait a minute, over the bag. And Alfonso Marquez differs. And here comes Tony La Russa. It looked like it went over the bag, and then it hit the chalk. And yet Marquez called it foul. It's a big man at the plate right there, Hosmer.
And maybe another big moment in this game. The question is, where is the ball when it goes over the base? That's all that matters. Doesn't matter where it hit. It matters where it is right now. And does that ball go over the base in fair territory or not? Very difficult to tell, really, on any angle we can give you. Maybe this one's the best. Is where is that ball as it crosses first base? Very close.
And the other play was very close earlier, too.
And it doesn't matter either where the ball hits after it goes past the base. Where is it as it's traveling over first base?
By the way, the Tony La Russa experience is up to $10,000.
That's great.
Here's an 0-2 pitch with one out. Runners at first and second.
And I'm sure that the dinner with Lou Brock will get there. Have I said that, Dan?
Yes. Got him to chase.
Curveball from Carpenter. Pulls that one out at a perfect time. His work is not done, however. Francoeur 1 for 3.
So 2 outs and 2 on. Jeff Francoeur, the free swinger, takes a ball inside. The Cardinals looking ahead to their half of the 7th. John Jay, Albert Pujols, and then Matt Holliday, right-hander, is getting loose. And the bullpen for Kansas City. The 1-0 is hit foul and out of play. That is Wood that is getting loose. Blake Wood, a right-hander for Kansas City. Outfield is straight away. First and second, 4-4 game. 1 ball, 1 strike. Francoeur had an RBI base hit back in the first. Boy, he takes a rip, doesn't he, Rick?
Always has. Could have been a college football player. Decided to stick with baseball.
I've told this story before, but when he was with the Braves, we were told, as far as high school athletes coming out of that area, you are looking at the best. Football, baseball. And I mean the best ever.
And Atlanta is a hotbed for baseball. Their youth baseball programs are phenomenal.
1-2 is pulled foul.
Just the Georgia area. Jake Westbrook, Adam Wainwright,
Mitchell Boggs. Again, that number to donate, 345-9418. Time is getting short, 345-9418. Free swinger, 1-2. Carpenter this evening has struck out 6. Can he get him to chase? Put him away. Pitch number 106. Line foul. That pitch at 95. Sometimes you can get him to chase or pitch up, and a free swinger, like you said with Willie McGee, he'd make a pitcher pay.
Willie was a good bad ball hitter. You might throw one out of the zone. He may look bad on it one time himself, but he could hit a pitch really anywhere, and he could hit it hard. Down at the shoes, over his head.
1-2.
But very few can do that because you've got to cover more ground.
Last 2 pitches. 2 pitches ago was up in his eyes. That pitch down below the knees. You talk about changing the eye level pitches. That's how you do it.
And that does make a difference. The hitter starts to get used to the angle of which he's seeing the ball. So if it's up, 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 he's seeing the ball the same way. You throw it 4 feet lower, and it looks entirely different to him.
$40,675 here tonight. 40675. Got him. Strikeout for Carpenter. Proposed to Brittany Weber tonight. Brittany Weber, the daughter of Skip and Laura Weber. That's it. Niagara Falls. The tears begin to flow here at Busch Stadium. So congratulations to Casey Angst and Brittany Weber. You never know where those cameras and microphones might be.
Wow. We're doing everything on this broadcast.
It's our call to the bullpen, and here is Blake Wood. So again, congratulations to Casey Angst and Brittany Weber. I'm assuming, by the way, that the ring was in the back of the jersey. If not, that's quite a reaction for just a jersey.
I'm sure he thought that out over a long period of time, planned it like we all do.
Here is John Jay, 4-4 game, and the first pitch is taken for a strike. So congratulations to those two. It's Jay, Pujols, and Holiday. 7th inning for the Redbirds. John Jay 2 innings ago with an outstanding catch in center field. The 1-1 pitch. One of the guys that we saw in the previous series in Kansas City, Aaron Crow, who pitched at the University of Missouri, and he looked nasty.
Oh, yes, he did. And that's what I was talking about, the 8th and 9th inning. You threw Soria and Crow, and you've got two pretty top guys late. You'd like to face somebody else. But
Dan
Paulino, you got to give him some credit, Dan,
Yep.
for Paulino for going as deep as he did.
2-2 pitch. By the way, Dan Hyatt of our staff will have a feature on Missouri players that have made it. See that tomorrow before our first pitch. Dan does a great job researching and putting together many features. (3-2) to Jay. Again, time running out. That number to call, 345-9418. You saw the two young ladies, high school students that were up in the booth throughout the first pitch. That's why we're here tonight. Homes were destroyed in Joplin. 2 of many. Their high school destroyed as well. 345-9418. And a ground ball hit to the right side. Jay retired. Brings in Albert Pujols. Pujols hits it foul and out of play. The 0-1 pitch. Look at these fans here tonight, over 40,000 edge of their seats here in the 7th inning, waiting for something special from number 5. Pujols back to the pitcher. And there's 2 outs.
Dan, one sense you get out of both Holiday and Pujols is they're going to have their nights where they have offers. Holiday 1 for 2. He did get hit by a pitch, also singled, scored a run, and has driven in a run. But even if they're 0 for 3, you get the sense that they're not so out of whack that they can't just hurt you late in the game with one good at-bat. I think Albert, for a while, not so much Holiday, but Albert for a while was in such a funk where you got the feeling that he just was making a lot of bad swings and might not do that damage late. But I think he's really a force in late innings, and so is Holiday.
Nasty pitch there, 0-2. It was Holiday that hit a home run off of Wood the earlier series, and Wood would later say he hadn't seen a ball hit that hard in his career. Talked with Eric Burns today of MLB Network. I said, well, you saw Matt Holiday a lot. National League West. He said, I was actually teammates with him when he first came up. He said, I've never seen a major leaguer hit the ball as hard as this guy, ever. He said he was just as he put it, a young pup. He said, you know, Bonds is doing his thing in the National League West, and Colorado had a few boppers, and he was on teams with Giambi and Tejada and some others, and he said, this guy steps in the batter's box to take BP, and first time we saw it, we thought, wow. Then he did it every single time. So that's when he knew he was going to be pretty special.
There are different kinds of home run hitters. There's the McGuire long fly ball type home run. Then there's the guys that hit him often, but maybe don't hit him that hard or that far. Ernie Banks was like that. Mike Shannon said he had 500 home runs into the first row. But Matt Holliday's the type that maybe not as often, maybe not as high, but I'm not sure anybody hits him as hard as Matt Holliday does. Albert, you give him the nod on frequency. Some guys hit him the other way. Adrian Gonzalez, Lance Berkman.
Swing and a miss. Holliday strikes out. 4-4 as we head to the 8th.
Look at our tote board, and this thing will end at the end of 8. Still need a higher bid for the Fox Sports VIP experience. I personally guarantee that if you raise the bid on this, you'll hang with Mike Matheny, and I will make sure you're treated like you own the team. We're talking VIP treatment. There are other ways to get involved outside of the auction if you'd like to help out with Joplin Relief. You can donate online at www.cardinals.com/Joplin. Text the word Joplin to 32020 to donate $10. Call 314-345-9000 to donate any amount. Donate cash at one of the Busch Stadium gates tonight, or purchase a commemorative team patch from the team store. Chris Carpenter back to work. We send it to you guys.
Well, here is Carpenter, well over 100 pitches. Good job tonight, Jim. And again, that number 345-9418. Moustakis takes a ball. 2-0. Nobody getting loose in the Cardinal bullpen. Pitch count at 111 for Carpenter. Moustakis is grounded into a double play. 4-6-3. He's also flied out to center and grounded out. And that's a leadoff walk as Carpenter stares back into the home plate umpire. So it's a leadoff walk. Pitch count very high for Carpenter, and now quickly activity in the Cardinal bullpen. Here's Matt Trainer sacrificing here. Cruz hops on it, makes the play. Go ahead run in scoring position. How about Rick? Tony La Russa deciding to stay with Carpenter
I'm surprised.
Deep in the game with his pitch count.
Yeah, over 100 pitches. You'd think he'd be at the point where job well done, let's turn it over to the bullpen. But I think some of that's a reflection of wanting to win for Carpenter, and it's also a reflection of how much the bullpen has been struggling of late.
Strike one. Strike two.
Bottom of the order probably has something to do with it, Dan. Give him a shot. Maybe he can have a low pitch inning.
Liner, that's caught. Seen a couple of 0-2 base hits against Carpenter tonight. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Cardinals. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. Time really getting short right now. If you'd like to put in that winning bid on those experiences or donate money, area code 314-345-9418, 345-9418. Thank you very much for all the money and the bids. Here's Alcides Escobar. Butler, who's used now with this situation. No DH, but a dangerous pinch hitter. He's on deck. Two-one pitch. Go ahead run at second base. Pujols couldn't handle it. Into right. Berkman comes up firing to the plate. He is safe. 5-4 Kansas City.
Cardinal defense lets down Chris Carpenter again. And this is an unlikely source. Albert Pujols so good keeping the ball in the infield, but that ball gets past him. Strong throw. Just a bit late at the plate.
Here's Butler with a runner at second base. Strike at the knees. It's one of those plays where you sit there and say that 99 out of 100 Pujols comes up with, or at least keeps it in front and keeps it on the infield. He did not, and that is ruled an error.
Yeah, and that's the key, Dan. I mean, it's one thing to boot it. That's going to happen, but you really got to make sure that ball doesn't get in the outfield, because that's a run. And of course he's doing everything to make that happen, but Albert had a couple of errors at third base on the road trip. Now back at first base.
Well, Rick, a question right now too for Tony La Russa. Off day Monday, you could push Carpenter back. You've really extended him here in this game. He's approaching 125 pitches. Fly ball, right field. John Jay makes the catch.
With the aftermath of that devastating tornado, over 150 killed, 19,000 left homeless. Let's help out by bidding on one of our Cardinal Experience packages. Bidding ends at the end of the 8th. 314-345-9418. If you've already bid, thank you from all of us at Fox Sports Midwest and the St. Louis Cardinals. Guys, the clock is ticking.
And again, the number you see at the top portion of your screen, 314-345-9418. 314-345-9418. Aaron Crow is into the ballgame. He's 2-0 with a 1.42 ERA. The sea of red again here tonight, over 40,000, but disappointed so far. Bottom of 8 rolls in, and it's 5-4.
Chris Carpenter only walks one batter, and that batter scores that run in the 8th inning to give the Royals the lead.
So Chevy called to the pen. Here is Berkman, and he looks at a strike. So again, we have until the end of the 8th, 345-9418. 1 ball, 1 strike. Big hit in this game for St. Louis. Back in the 4-run third, Lance Berkman, bases clearing double.
And Dan, we've mentioned it a couple of times, but for anybody that has joined our telecast late, you can also do something very simple to be a part of this. Just text 32020. You can donate $10 with that text. You'll be texting the word Joplin, Joplin, and you'll be automatically charged. Very simple. You just say yes when they ask you, do you want to be charged? And we know there's a lot of Cardinal fans that have joined us that can be a part of this special night in that way.
So a look at the tote board and the highest experience, Tony La Russa VIP experience, over $10,000. Thank you very much, David T. You want to see Lou Brock get up to 10 grand.
I think we've got 2 more outs to get it there. Whoever just took it up to 10-1, whoever was at 10 before that, jump over to the Lou Brock one. Go ahead.
A lot of fans here have donated, and the umpires as well. So everybody has gotten in the act here tonight. How about a Tony Cruz home run? Does that sound good?
Sign me up.
Cubbies over the Yankees at Wrigley Field tonight, 3-1. Many around baseball thought they'd be seeing history this weekend at Wrigley with Derek Jeter, but he's on the disabled list. Tom Glavine, when he was with the New York Mets, picked up win number 300 at Wrigley Field. Babe Ruth called shots, so many moments. Baseball history at Wrigley.
So walk instead.
We'll take that. Again, that tote board. Let's take a look, and the items that are up for auction. Again, 314-345-9418 to call in and get your bid in. Three, 4, 5, 9, 4, 1, 8. Here's Descalso. Daniel has come up with so many big hits first half of the season. One of the biggest hits that he had was home run against the Marlins earlier this year. Spot very similar to this. Parked it in right. Cardinals went on for a win.
Is that a prediction?
Oh. Could be 2 out at second. Safe at first. Tell you what, Escobar, there's certain things you love to watch in the game of baseball. Speed, power, and how about a good arm? Look at this arm from Escobar trying to turn that double play. He fired it just a seed over to first.
I love to watch shortstops play. Got to be athletic. Then look at that arm. That ball just kind of defies the speed of our Foxmo. Wow.
Colby Rasmus will be the pinch hitter. The fullback Tyler Green. Rasmus 0 for 3 as a pinch hitter this year. The Tony La Russa VIP experience has jumped up a couple of thousand, up to 12.5. Three, 4, 5, 9, 4, 1, 8. Pitch at 96. Crow, we talk about it a lot. Sit on that bench. You come in cold, and you face a guy like Crow who's got a nasty breaking ball, but also was very, very hard.
That's the job. You better be ready for it. You got to gear up.
Hamilton has moved to the on-deck circle.
That's the job of a pinch hitter, Dan. You're typically going to be facing somebody who throws hard in the 8th or 9th inning who is fresh. You're fresh in a way, maybe physically, but in terms of timing, you're going to have to find a way to gear it up, be ready.
2-2.
Almost think doing a visual exercise might even be better for a hitter coming in this kind of situation than actually stretching or swinging the bat or getting loose. Just making sure you've got the timing straight.
Wonder what the plans may be with a guy like Aaron Crow when you think about the prospects of Kansas City. Does he move into the rotation? Do they keep him here? He also, for a while, was closing this season. Soria had his issues, some blown saves. They pulled him out of that role briefly, and Crow is in that spot. A 2-2 pitch. Lou Brock up to 8,000. Again, time ticking away. Chance of a lifetime to have dinner with the great Hall of Famer and his wife.
Do I hear 9?
3-2. See if Colby turns on one here. Runner goes. Swing and a miss. 9th inning. Coming up. 5-4 Kansas City. Great times are waiting. Grab some buds. By Bank of America, where ATM deposits are as easy as an infield fly. No deposit slip, no envelope with Bank of America, member FDIC. And by AT&T. Downtown St. Louis, Busch Stadium. 5-4 in favor of Kansas City. Albert Pujols moves from first to third. You've got Berkman, who moves in to play first base. Colby Rasmus stays in the ball game. He's in center field. You've got Daniel Descalso at short. John Jay to right. And Trevor Miller is your pitcher. Did you get all that?
I just caught up.
Carpenter, Rick, most pitches since 2001 in a game. He had 124 here tonight.
Think about all those changes defensively. That's a lot of different gloves, too. He moved from first to third, right to first, third to short.
Numbers on Trevor Miller this season. 2.92 ERA. So 10 hits allowed by Carpenter in his 8 innings of work. There's Melky Cabrera with 1 out, nobody on. You think there's some truth to over the monotony of a season so long that when you move guys around, mentally it keeps you sharp and on your toes?
I would agree. I think that's a good thing.
I've talked to some of the players who have played for Tony. John Mabry being a perfect example. He said, I never knew what I was going to be doing when I got to the ballpark, especially my 3rd time through with the St. Louis Cardinals.
Gives you a little bit different perspective, keeps you kind of interested. I mean, not that you shouldn't be interested in being in a big league game, but you're human. And
absolutely.
I think it kind of wakes you up a little bit. And Jose Oquendo would be another name that comes to mind. He played a lot of places.
I was talking with Mabes today, and he said his entire minor league career was spent playing the outfield, also in college. I said, well, what happened? You got here and you're all over the place. He said Joe Torre just came up to him one day and said, you're in the big leagues. You think you can play first? He said, that means I'm going to stay in the big leagues? Yes.
Yes, exactly. And then he loves to tell the story about how much he likes it, except for the days where he would play to give Mark McGwire a rest, and the fans would be driving in from out of town, and they'd
boo him.
They'd boo him. They'd say, I mean, this is not fair. You love John Mabry.
One of the nicest people in our game, and he and Mike Matheny are going to be coaching a high school game this Monday here at Busch Stadium. Mabes also talked a lot about George Kissel, what George meant to him and so many Cardinals throughout the years. But remember, John Mabry, he went back down to the minor leagues and learned how to play third base.
And he has the distinction of being a Cardinal 3 different times.
So far, so good for Trevor Miller. Our ball game 5-4 in favor of Kansas City. Coming up next, Missouri Lottery Cardinals Live. Molina has not been used tonight. Miller's spot is due up first. Then you'll have Schumacher and Jay.
Little 9th inning magic from Molina last night.
You bet. I thought it was great too. John was saying that, talking with him, how much he needs to get back to the game. He said, now I'm raising my 4 boys, but I try to get back in any way I can, whether it be teaching kids in this area or helping out with a high school game in which some of those kids get recognized. John was found that way, got a scholarship, and then turned into a 10-year big leaguer.
And he's at the age where he's still able to coach his kids, coach his son, which is one of the greatest joys in life, I would say.
See Trevor with his kids at the ballpark an awful lot.
I've had a chance to do a lot of great things and play the game and coach professionally and sit next to you for 9 innings.
Oh, yeah.
But I would say that the biggest joy that I've had in my life is coaching my kids in sports. That is just a precious thing. And
I can't believe I'm not above that.
You're just below.
You hurt my feelings again.
You're just below
you
that.
You did it again.
Just above the World Series, just below coaching my kids.
Bottom of the ninth coming up. They've out hit the Cardinals 10-5 as we move to the bottom of the ninth. And our Nissan drive of the game off the bat of Lance Berkman. Bases loaded, and he cleared them. Holiday would score all the way from first.
Cardinals got a little early excitement from Lance Berkman. We'll see if they can put together some ninth inning excitement against Soria, who's back in the closer's role. You mentioned that, Dan. ERA is high, but he has been much better of late.
So Soria comes in. All-Star a year ago. 5th season out of Mexico. Named at multiple All-Star games, one of 6 Mexican-born players to have that distinction.
3 lefties, then Albert. Hopefully, then Albert. Hamilton is 0 for his last 14. Had a good at-bat in Washington, but there have been times where he's been overmatched.
Soria with 43 saves a year ago. 30 the year before that. 42 the year before that one. 1-1 pitch. Hamilton strikes out. Skip Schumacher in his familiar spot for a few years here in St. Louis. Leadoff spot in the lineup. He has walked tonight 0 for 3.
Still looking for a contribution for the prostate cancer awareness, aren't we?
Yes, we are.
$20,000. Isn't that right?
That's right. Oh-2 pitch. Great job by our entire crew. Tim Trokey worked very hard behind the scenes to make this happen. Jim Hayes over at our update desk. 1-2 pitch. Little chopper up the middle. Escobar makes the play. Players of the game presented by Budweiser. We hand it over to the citizens of Joplin, Missouri. Final hope is John Jay.
And there are 40,675 people that would like to see Albert bat one more time. That doesn't even count you and I, Dan.
That's right. Just missed on the outside corner. John Jay is 1 for 4 with a single back in the third. Slice is foul and out of play.
Struck out Hamilton with a curveball. Going for a fastball away here.
Just missed. 2-2. Game on the line. Tough pitch to take there.
Takes a lot of discipline to lay off that pitch. Number 5. Lurking.
Jay fights it off. There's a base hit. Pujols will hit one more time.
40,675 people have gotten what they wanted, and they're on their feet. John Jay takes it the other way. Pitch misses location. And here's the moment we were hoping for.
It's going to be tough to get that guy out of the lineup. John Jay, very streaky. Looks like he started one of those streaks again.
And good defensively. Another nice play today.
In his career, he is 0 for 2 against Soria. And they're on their feet here at Busch Stadium. Pujols 0 for 3 tonight with a walk. They are as deep as you can get. This place is ready to explode. 2-0.
You don't need a homer. You'd like one. But a gapper will score John Jay.
The 2-0 pitch. 3-0. Holiday on deck.
Green light? Yes.
If you're wondering, Matt Holliday 1 for 1 in his career against this right-hander. everybody on their feet. Tying run at first. Winning run at the plate. 3 balls, 1 strike on Albert Pujols. Ground ball left side. This should do it. They'll get the lead man. The losing skid continues here in St. Louis.
Exciting moments there in the 9th inning, but the Kansas City Royals prevail. We know we were able to help the folks of Joplin. Saw a very nice baseball game. Unfortunately, Chris Carpenter not able to pick up his 2nd victory.
Although no home runs were hit in this game, the home run challenge continues through Father's Day. Make your pledge by calling 800-798-PURE or go online to www.pcf.org. Special night here at the ballpark. Disappointing on the scoreboard, but thousands of dollars raised for the folks in Joplin.